All right, good morning, everyone. My name's Luca. I am the head of sales at BGL, and I'll be taking you through our SMSF software platform called Simple Fund 360. We're right on 10:59, so I'll give a couple more minutes just for everyone to join. Um, so we'll just hang around for till we hit 11:01. Hope you've all had a good morning and keen to get stuck into Simple Fund 360. So, a bit of housekeeping before we get the demo underway. So, this webinar is being recorded. So, uh, we will send an email with a link to the recording to all of the attendees and even those who registered and couldn't attend. So, if any of your colleagues would have liked to watch the webinar, please feel free to pass them on the link. In regards to questions, I have Andre from our training team with us in the webinar, and myself also, who will answer any of your questions. So feel free to put any questions in the Q&A and we'll get to them accordingly as the webinar proceeds. So wait a couple more seconds. Give everyone a chance to join. All right, let's get started. So, who is BGL? We were founded in 1989 by a chartered accountant. We have 35 years in the software industry, focusing on SMSF compliance and management, and also corporate compliance with our CAS 360 platform. We've grown to over 225 staff across 5 jurisdictions. Our headquarters are in Melbourne, Australia. We've grown our SMSF base now to just over 3,000 clients across Australia with 306,000 SMSFs under management. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go through why should you invest in a software like Simple Fund 360 and specifically Simple Fund 360. And we're going to go through some of the benefits of the platform and how it will streamline your SMSF trustees' retirement. Okay, so benefit for you as the accountant processing their SMSF, but also to make it as efficient and a great experience for the trustees when receiving all of their correspondence, documents, source documents, reports, etc. So, look, I suppose our goal at BGL is aligned with you as the accountant and also the trustees. We want to provide efficient and a compliant solution, while we also want to provide a high level of service to you when you're engaging with us as a company. And we do that in the nature of training, support, onboarding to get, and also with our software update. So we're updating Simple Fund 360 every 3 weeks with improvements, new software features, innovation, and also any fixes we need to make. And we take user feedback very, very seriously. Anyone who provides us feedback or feature requests will go on our wish list, and we basically will implement those features in the software over a period of time. We really want to give you the tools to process the fund efficiently without making errors. So accuracy and error reduction is important, and we'll touch on that. time efficiency, compliance and audit readiness, scalability, and multi-user access. So allowing all of your staff members access to the platform, plus the trustees, the auditor, getting as much co-collaboration as possible. Integration and automation. Obviously, the software wouldn't be what it is today without our ecosystem pushing and pulling in data from your actuarial providers, legal document providers, banks, brokers, wraps and platforms, and more. Security and data protection, which we take very seriously, and I'll touch on how we go about that aspect of the software. And then professional reporting and forecasting, providing that to the trustees, financial planners, etc. Before we get started, I just want to get a bit of a gauge on who's in attendance today. I know majority of your accountants, some might be trustees, but I really want to tailor this webinar to what you're looking for. So I've prepared a poll. So feel free to fill out this poll just so I have a better idea of who is in attendance. So I've launched it. You should have access to it now. So do you currently use software for SMSF administration and compliance in your practice? Yes. If it's Simple Fund 360, another platform, no, but we're planning to adopt one, or no, and currently no plans. The next is, what's your biggest challenge when managing SMSF compliance? So feel free to go through and fill these out. Okay. Manual data entry and reconciliations, gathering documents from clients, staying on top of regulatory changes, time-consuming reporting or audit prep, managing contributions, pensions, or rollovers. And then the next question, what is most important to you when choosing an SMSF compliance platform? So is it saving time and automation? Are you strapped for time and that's something you're looking to? Seamless integrations with other apps such as Xero, digital signing, SMSF setups and audits, ease of use, and intuitive interface. So, different levels of your technology knowledge. Is intuitive interface important to you, or you're pretty tech savvy and you can pick that up quite easily? Security and data protection, customer service support, onboarding and training. So, do you need that hand holding? Do you need more support, or you sort of, can you learn on your own? And how many SMSFs does your firm currently manage? Which features would add most value to your SMSF processes? Obviously, we're trying to improve this platform as much as we possibly can, and innovative new technologies are at the forefront of our product development team. And we really want to push the boundaries on how we can improve Simple Fund 360. So is AI-powered transaction matching important? Automated data feeds, smart document reading and data extraction, built-in compliance work papers, real-time performance and member reporting, and cloud-based collaboration tools. Going off what you've all put through, everything seems pretty even in terms of what you're looking for. So saving time and automation, which I'll touch on, ease of use, customer service, automated data feeds are important. So these are all some of the things I'll go through today. So I'll end the poll and we can jump straight in. Okay. Close that. So I suppose, just showing here the BGL ecosystem, really, really important, just so we can establish connectivity between all of our platforms. And one of the biggest advantages of Simple Fund 360 is how well it integrates with the rest of your tech stack, but not only your tech stack, but what the SMSF is involved with. So the different stakeholders, whether it's practice management, digital signing, legal document providers, banks, brokers, wraps and platforms. These integrations will increase efficiency, remove the double handling, hopefully reduce as many errors as possible, and save your team as many hours as possible per week. Everything flows seamlessly through Simple Fund 360. Hopefully then your staff can focus less on that admin burden and more on delivering value to clients. So it's not just about features. We want to build a smarter, more connected workflow that allows you to scale the firm. So that's why we're invested so heavily in the BGL ecosystem and adding as many providers as possible. So let's jump into Simple Fund 360. So I suppose what you've all been waiting for. Just give me one tick. Okay. Close that. So Simple Fund 360 is a fully cloud-based. We can all see the screen. Okay, so fully cloud-based software platform. All right, it's hosted on Amazon Web Services in the cloud. So all of your data is constantly getting accessed by as many users at your firm that you've given access to. So not only can you log in at the office, you can log in at home or wherever you may be with an internet connection. We're always releasing new features, as I mentioned, so we can see here what's new. Open banking, being able to connect to any bank in Australia, bringing through historical data, which is super important in regards to previous financial years that you may have to process, and also the ease of setting up open banking, which we'll touch on. I'll show you later. So once you log into Simple Fund 360, it will bring you into our Insights dashboard. So our Insights dashboard is where all of our funds are located and where we can navigate through and complete the work for each of those funds. We can see we have different tags giving us insights on the different financial years where our funds are sitting. We have different user labels where we can assign to each fund, giving us more information about the different specifications of that fund that we need to keep in mind during the processing. We have our filters on the left-hand side where you can filter through your different parameters, such as financial year, if the fund's registered for GST, what the trustee type, is it individual or corporate, etc. But we'll jump into a fund just so we can really touch on what I mentioned earlier in terms of time efficiency and what you all seem to be interested in with the platform. So once we click on a fund, it will bring us into the fund dashboard screen. This fund dashboard screen gives us an overview of each of our funds. All right, it gives us information about where the fund's currently at in the financial year, giving us indicators on what we need to action moving forward. So we've got that information on a transaction level. So the software will notify us with unmatched transactions that we need to attend to. Corporate actions, what we need to process in terms of announcements that have come through from the ASX, such as your DRPs, code class changes, etc. Distribution tax automation, which is our annual tax statements. We automate a significant portion of managed funds and ETFs that have an annual tax statement issued at the end of the financial year, but also we have implemented technology that allows you to scan your annual tax statements when you do receive them, with all the tax components being pre-filled, which I'll go through throughout the demo. Our working papers, inbuilt accounting work papers in Simple Fund 360, so you no longer need to be jumping out of the platform. Our goal is really to bring every aspect of processing an SMSF into Simple Fund 360 without you having to use Word, document management files, file servers or Dropbox, etc., Google Docs, your Excel, and general ledgers. We're trying to bring that all into the one platform, and our work papers does make that possible. Different lodgement statuses for the fund, data feeds, which are really important to increase our efficiency and really limit that administration burden. We're registered with SuperStream, so is the fund registered or not? We have our own BGL ESA that comes included in the platform, and then an indicator on digital signing. So you can now send out all of your annual reports through digital signing if you do have a subscription with either DocuSign, Adobe Sign, Please Sign, or Fuse Sign. And I'll show you how the workflow works in terms of sending out those reports with that electronic signing. We can see we have information about share with. So not only can we share with the trustees of the fund, we can also share the fund with the auditor, so the auditor can access directly. And we have feedback from a lot of clients who have mentioned that their auditors are pushing them to use software such as Simple Fund 360 because it cuts down their audit time by around half, or even more than half. BGL support, so we're constantly supporting you as our clients. So if you need to log a support call or share the fund with our support team, you do have access to do so. You can add any notes to the funds that you require, but we've also have our jobs. So each fund you can set up different tasks to be completed, and which will allow you to keep on top of the funds that you're currently assigned to, but also at what stage of processing you are. So giving you a more transparent view. We can see here we can add our dates, but also we have different checklists that we can go and tick off to make sure that fund has been processed correctly and what we may be missing or not. So we can see here, have we received documents from the client, transaction processing, final review, the invoice status, lodgement status, work papers ready for review, etc. So you can set them all up that we can tick off there. Further down, we have some information about our investments for the fund. Just a quick overview. If you select investment dashboard, it will give you more information about the fund's investments and really go into how the fund's performing against different benchmarks such as the ASX 200 and different timeframes that you want to access. And then our members, so our total member balance, because we're bringing through data from a lot of different sources, such as the ASX, we're able to revalue the investments or majority of the investments on a daily basis and revalue the total member balance on a daily basis. Again, depending on if we can receive a data feed and how accurate that is, will determine the total member balance. Different assets may not have a feed that you can bring through the market value at the end of each day. So maybe on a quarterly basis or semi-annually, you'll be able to update and have that information as accurate as possible. Different contribution caps. So you can see, is that particular member below, over, or where they're currently at, different pensions, and then our T-bar that we can access. Data feeds, are essential when it comes to processing SMSFs and other entities. They'll allow the transaction data to flow directly from banks into Simple Fund 360, but also from our brokers and our wraps and platforms. We can see our data feed dashboard here, which will bring up all of our banks. It will give our service provider what the status is on that bank account. Is it feed operating, awaiting signature, or no feed setup? And it will also give us the balance on the bank statement at the end of each day. We're playing with demo data here, but you'll receive with a date stamp the balance on the bank statement, and that will reconcile daily with the balance on the ledger. And depending on how up to date you are with the transaction matching, it can be as accurate as possible. And that's really important for our accuracy and error reduction aspect of Simple Fund 360, which we're trying to solve. So making it really easy and visible to reconcile. So in terms of the data feeds, we now support over 350 banks, brokers, and wraps and platforms. You are able to set these up either via our BGL Bank Data Service, which is just a signature. We prepare all the forms for you, and you can send them out to your clients for signing. Alternatively, we do have our open banking, which requires different codes from the banks, which will allow you to bring through historical transactions and current transactions. Although you do need to set that up and verify that yearly, whereas the BGL Bank Data Service is a one-off signature, and that's completed. We'll now jump into our transactions. So the way we design Simple Fund 360 is based on a double entry accounting ledger, general ledger. So we can see here we've maintained our different accounts and debits and credits. So not only can you create transactions, such as bank statement transactions, you can also journal between accounts, do complete depreciation journals and corporate action journals within the transaction list. In terms of creating the most efficient processing for our transactions, we went on to develop our smart matching screen, which is more efficient, we found, when processing the funds transactions using our new AI technology, which incorporates pattern recognition, and we call it smart matching. And what that does is it reads the description for that particular transaction, and also grabs information about the amount for the transaction and gives a confidence reading and attempts to allocate to the chart of accounts in Simple Fund 360. Not only do you have that layer of smart matching with our AI, you can also set up different rules in the platform. So if you identify a transaction that has the same description coming through on a daily, weekly, quarterly basis, you're able to come in, set up different parameters that will recognize that transaction and select which of the chart of accounts you would like that transaction to be allocated to. And it will just automatically, as soon as it comes through, will allocate to that account under the chart of accounts. There's a couple of ways of us bringing in the transaction data, so the bank data. So one that I mentioned obviously was the feeds from the bank. The second is manual data entry. So if you want to be more old school, and you perhaps can't get a feed or even a copy. I suppose now this has been completely made redundant due to our new technology called Smart Docs. So what Smart Docs was developed for is if you can't get a feed from the bank. Some banks don't support feeds, and if you can't go through open banking, it might not be possible. And then some of our clients, the trustees, may not trust the bank feeds, may not want to sign off on those forms. So what we've done to solve that problem is we've created Smart Docs. So you can grab a bank statement. So we'll grab our Macquarie bank statement here. We'll upload it into our data entry spreadsheet. And what you'll notice is what the software will be able to do is it will read every line item on that bank statement and translate that into our table on the left-hand side. We can even select each field, and you'll be able to see the software has picked up and highlighted on the PDF to our right. Not only that is we're able to have flexibility around perhaps if it put the debits and credits in the wrong field, we can do a quick swap. And if you may have any international bank statements that are in USD, Euro, British pound, what you're able to do is go through and select the currency, and it will do a currency conversion at that particular day that we're bringing through from the RBA. Once you're happy with everything that's come through from that bank statement, you select create, and it will add all of those transactions to our smart matching screen table, where you'll be able to very easily select the particular account if our smart matching hasn't completely selected the right account, and then select a match, which will post to our transaction list, which I touched on previously. And that transaction has been completed. What we can see also is SD that's been attached to some of our transactions here. And what that means is it is some of our, not only do we support, like I showed, bank statements, we support a vast range of different documents relating to self-managed super funds. So dividend statements, distribution statements, rental property statements, also utilities bills. So that could be for a commercial or rental property that the fund might have. So the ability for us to upload those particular source documents into Simple Fund 360 and have that read and attached to transactions, the transaction, is really valuable when we're preparing our work papers at the end of the year. So we can see those transactions there. And also the ones highlighted in green are the ones we've set up with our automated custom rules that I mentioned. So once those transactions have been matched, we can jump back into our fund dashboard screen, and we can view our corporate actions. Okay. So like I mentioned, BGL is bringing through data from the ASX on a daily basis. Not only, I'll just actually show you what data does come through. So we have our CBA shares that the fund currently holds, but we bring through all the security prices at the end of each day. So this will revalue those CBA shares or any other shares that the fund may have, given the units that the fund currently holds. So you'll get the accurate market value daily for ASX listed shares, and also income. So when the dividends do come through into Simple Fund 360, you won't have to code those dividends anymore. So the software will automatically allocate dividends from these ASX listed shares for any imported bank transactions. So those transactions coming through from the bank feed, the software will recognize the dividend amount, and the system will match that particular dividend to the cash. Okay. It will also pre-fill franked and unfranked amounts. So there's no need to manually create rules for dividends or add the dividends yourself. So we can see the franked and unfranked coming through from the ASX, which if we jump into our transaction list and select a dividend, okay, we can see here, or a distribution. And we'll just select a dividend. Bear with me for 1 second. Okay. So if we have a look here at our Macquarie dividend, we've also got the Macquarie dividend statement attached. Okay, we can see that dividend statement that's come through. We can see the transaction that it's attached to. And all we've had to do here is upload all those source documents to Simple Fund 360. The dividends will match automatically, but if you do want those source documents attached to the transaction and pushed through to the accounting work papers, all you need to do is just upload it into here. So, I've got here accounting fees, rental property statements, CBA dividends, NASDAQ distributions, NASDAQ annual tax statements, etc. So you just drag and drop them all into here, and then the software will read those particular transactions, particular source documents. So if I jump back into here, we can also see if we open up that transaction, because we're receiving that income on a daily basis, we have pushed through the cash distribution. So the franked and unfranked, and also the franking credits. So all zero touch. So you're not having to go through and edit any or manually enter any of this information. That then brings us to our corporate action. So if any DRP, so that the cash isn't being received, it's being reinvested, you're able to come into our corporate action screen and automatically process these dividend reinvestment plans with all of the information being pre-filled for you. So the DRP price per share, number of shares allotted, residual balances even being left over, and the efficiency of having to just click process corporate action for that CBA dividend and having the manual journal being created in our transaction list, which we can see here, automatically created here, our DRP, saves you and your team a lot of time when processing the funds. Going back into our fund dashboard, we've completed our corporate actions. Next, our annual tax statement. So like I mentioned, we do support a vast range of different securities, which will automatically bring through what we call system tax data. So for this NDQ security here, we can see the transaction, the yearly distributions that have come through. But not only that, we can also bring through what's called generate tax data. So what that will do is it will pre-fill all the cash distributions, the Australian income, capital gains, foreign income for that particular annual tax statement. If that security is not supported, like with our distribution statements, dividend statements, and bank statements, we can use smart docs. So this is really been a game changer for Simple Fund 360 users. It's been incredibly efficient for their day-to-day workflow. So we can upload a copy of that annual tax statement, which we can see here. So all of the fields. Okay. Once we grab that, upload it into here, the software will read it using our Smart Docs extraction technology, and it will pre-fill each of the fields. So each of the fields from that annual tax statement will push into this table on the right-hand side. Okay, and then it will give you an option to generate tax data and post accrual, or generate and mark as reviewed, and that will sit in the more details panel for this particular transaction here. So that's our annual tax statement data that either can be automatically fed if that security is supported, or if you can get a copy of the PDF or document itself of that annual tax statement, just upload it into our distribution tax automation under upload documents. It will read all of the tax data and post that directly into the software in a couple of seconds. Next along is our accounting work papers. So at the end of the year, we need to generate our accounting work papers. So just bear with me for one sec. The software will allow us to generate the full pack of year-end documentation with one click. So we just need to click generate, select our financial year, our start and end date, who will be the preparer and the reviewer. So the cross collaboration between, perhaps the manager, the SMSF manager, and the users, or however your firm's structured, you do have an option of having that review aspect on those work papers. You can refresh the work papers at any time. So if you have made any changes to the trial balance, just click refresh, and it will refresh all of the current year balances. If you've uploaded any other documents, it will also attach those documents to the work papers as well. We give you the option to export the work papers, notes, schedules, and documents only, and then you can notify whoever's involved, such as the preparer, the reviewer, the auditor, and create any notification events. So, as soon as you generate these work papers for the selected financial year, all those documents will be imported. So if I jump into distributions, we can see here the particular security. So the NASDAQ ETF, we can see our documents, any distributions that have been received throughout the year, and also our annual tax statement. So we can view that very easily with in our document screen, and then our annual tax statement, which we can view there. What we've also got is the ability to view any reconciliation documents. So, the distribution reconciliation report, dividend reconciliation report, etc. Different warnings and observations will pop up to reduce those errors and really keep you on top of what needs to be completed for this particular schedule. And then our checklists. So not only can you create or use our standard checklist, but you can create additional checklist tasks, and also create your own templates as well. If we jump back into work papers, we've also got the ability to change the status on the work papers. So, if a work paper's been if a schedule's been marked off, you just click ready for review. If it's then reviewed by Brad there, he'll just click complete, and then that particular schedule has been completed, and you just work your way down. We've given the option to add any comments, notes, etc., that you can view as well. So that's our accounting work papers. You can export. So if I export the full work papers, you'll be able to see not only the schedule, but also the documents attached. So we have our lead schedule here, and then our individual accounts with the different supporting document tags, external URLs, perhaps trust deeds, standard checklists, all being marked off. It will also add distribution reconciliation reports and our source documents. Okay, so all of this information being brought into the one platform. You don't need to be using multiple different platforms to complete these accounting work papers. And we've had such a big uptake by our Simple Fund 360 clients, and great feedback of them using the accounting work papers. I suppose at the beginning, some of them were reluctant to, because they had such good processes set up previously to move across to this. But once they did, we received some great feedback from them, saying why they didn't do it sooner. And it was just the comfort aspect of it that delayed them from moving across. I'll jump back into our fund dashboard. So you can see when you're using Simple Fund 360, you are jumping back and forth from the fund dashboard, because that's really your central place where you can manage the fund and see what needs to be completed. So we've completed our transactions, corporate actions, distribution, tax automation, and work papers. SuperStream, again, like I mentioned with the BGL ESA, you can register the funds for the employee contributions directly into the platform. We do produce the employee notification letters that you can send out to the trustees that can pass on to the employer to use the ESA. All included in the platform. But not only that, is with the contributions aspect, we also support rollovers. So you complete your rollovers directly in Simple Fund 360 from about a year ago that we implemented that feature in the platform. If I jump into global view, it will show our rollovers and rollouts that have been completed. Okay, so you got live statuses, the different amounts that have been completed, and the rollout request is done in Simple Fund 360, and it can be submitted as well in the platform. T-bar management, so all the compliance piece of managing an SMSF is handled in Simple Fund 360. So any changes or events that have occurred to the total super balance of a fund, and we know those are currently changing. So depending on the different indexation that are coming out from the ATO, where the fund is at in terms of their total super balance and what occurs throughout the financial year will all be recorded in our transfer balance dashboard. If it requires a T-bar document that needs to be lodged to the ATO, we will prepare that document for you. And what you'll need to do once the file is prepared, you'll need to upload it to the ATO portal. This is just something that the ATO hasn't fully developed yet, with an integration that pushes the T-bar file directly to the ATO. It's still an upload, but we do 99% of the work for you. You just need to upload that T-bar. We'll jump into a couple more of the compliance aspects of managing SMSF. getting an actuarial certificate. So we do have direct integrations with actuarial providers. So no, you're no longer having to collate data to provide to the actuarial. It's all sent directly through Simple Fund 360. We support 10 different providers. So I'm sure one of them will suit your needs, and you're probably already using one of these platforms to produce that certificate and percentage. So you just jump through the wizard here. Very, very easy. I know a lot of you in the poll mentioned the easeability, the usability in the interface and how easy it is to use. Our team really takes on that feedback and tries to make these workflows as user-friendly and as seamless as possible. So you just submit to actuary, it will come back with a percentage, and then it will be applied across the fund when end of year comes. Our investment dashboard, so we're able to, balance review in terms of the reconciliation of your fund. We're able to bring through using the HINs and postcodes. We have 98% registry coverage. So this is for our listed shares, where we can bring through the balance amount of the shares on a quarterly basis. So all you need to do is click activate, type in the HIN and postcode. You can, if they're all the same, you can do that all in bulk. Once you've done that, the system will start to bring through that quarterly balance data for those shares from Boardroom, Computer Share, and Link. Just touching on a couple of aspects that we support. So, PAYG, payment summaries, you can complete your BAS in the platform. We have audit management, different audit management screens. But one thing I wanted to touch on is our property dashboard. So property dashboard keeps track of the properties within the fund, being commercial or residential. We're able to see the different addresses, the valuations on those properties, and we can also request a property valuation from the following valuation providers. So just connect up the integration with those providers, and we've given you information here on what is supported and what is not supported for each of those providers, and it will come back with a valuation for you. Adding properties, pretty easy, just by clicking add property, and then you'll need to go into the transaction list to add the transactions for the purchase. Not only can you do that, we've also developed the ability to create invoices in Simple Fund 360. So this is a new feature. Let's say we do have a commercial property that we want to send an invoice for. So I suppose we have rent, maybe maintenance, 2,000 for the month, and then if car parks, let's say the property has 70 car parks. And then what we'll be able to do is we can put in a bank account. So the bank account will show ANZ. Okay, at the bottom of our invoice, you can put different reference invoice numbers. You can select the contact who you would like to send to. And once you do that, we will be able to send this invoice, this tax invoice, to that particular contact that needs to pay the invoice. But not only that, we will post these transactions to the ledger. So if I jump into the transaction list and I select perhaps rent property. Okay, just bear with me for one tick. And my apologies. Okay. What we'll be able to see is that rent for 20,000, our maintenance, and our car parks. And when the transaction comes through from the bank statement, if it does match up with that 20,000, the five, and the 3,500, it will automatically match the cash to these transactions here. So you won't have to touch those transactions moving forward unless you don't get paid. Reports. So if I jump into our reports, Simple Fund 360 has pre-built financial statements, which can be generated in this particular screen with a total of just over 170 different reports that we can see that span over financial, investment, work paper, letters and minutes, and audit reports. These can be generated across all of your funds with the ability to set up report packs and templates. So we can see you have selected a particular report pack. If you want to create a report pack from scratch, all you need to do is just jump into each of our tabs on the left and then add those particular reports to the report pack. Click on Save New Report Pack, give it a name, and then you'll be able to access that across all of your funds moving forward. What I'll do is I'll select one of our report packs here. Okay, it's got all of our reports here, and we've got the ability to download those reports. They've got templates so you can make any changes that you like. But if I click on digital signing, this might be applicable across all of your clients. So you might have a good relationship with some of the trustees and you're happy with that, happy for them to come into the office, or you'll go out to their house to give them the end of year reports that they need to and letters and minutes resolutions that they need to sign. And that's completely fine. But some of your clients might be remote, or you just might not have that relationship that you just want to send out the reports to get them to sign directly through the platform. So you can now do that with our electronic signing. So like I said, we've got DocuSign, FuseSign, and Please Sign. We've got those reports that can be electronically signed with the pens that are showing. If I click confirm, we've got our nice template, and then we can send that email out. Once that's been sent, and signed by the client, you can track that in the document screen. We do have the different tags on those particular documents. So if I can find it somewhere here, just bear with me for one moment. Griffin, even might be in this particular fund here. But you'll be able to track that particular set of documents and see the signed copies as well. Okay, it will send out to your clients for signing. End of year. Yeah, and it will show those signed, the signed copies in each of the fields that need to be electronically signed. All right. Scalability. I suppose you've got the tools with Simple Fund 360 to increase your client base. You've got unlimited user access, so you can invite your employees, trustees, auditors, and more. The admin can set roles based on giving read-only access when necessary. You can collaborate in real time with all of those different users. In terms of security and data protection, which we take very seriously, we are ISO 27001 certified, which is internationally recognized, and we're getting that updated every year. We encrypt all of your clients' data. We have backups, protection controls through multi-factor authentication that you need to have access to. I'll jump back into our presentation to finish off. So some great client feedback of Simple Fund 360. So a lot of these clients were in a similar position to you attending today. You know, they might not have you know, taken that leap onto software like Simple Fund 360 that manages all of their SMSF compliance. You know, I've talked to many of them, and they were definitely in that position. And you know, since using the platform, we've had some fantastic results. They've had some fantastic results using the platform and really automating and scaling their SMSF book. You know, efficiency and accuracy. You know, Diana, very similar position to, you know, not being fully convinced, being set in how the firm was currently managing the SMSF book, which was quite manual and time consuming. But, you know, we can see once they do commit to moving their funds across, and with the support of our teams here at BGL, you know, we can see that they've definitely had success out of the platform. How do we get started? So if you did like what you saw today, the onboarding, we have our BGL client success team, which will onboard all of your funds free of charge. Okay, we'll set up all the opening balances for you. So that real time-consuming and maybe deterrent of you wanting to move to a platform like Simple Fund 360, we really try and alleviate that burden when setting up on the platform. So the BGR Client Success team will do all that work for you. All you need to do is provide us with the financial documents, and we'll enter the investments, property, opening balances, and entity details for you. Pricing, what we've all been waiting for. So Simple Fund 360 Professional Edition is priced at $130 per fund per annum. Okay, it is sold as in a minimum of 5, and then you can go up by 1. So you're not having to, you know, increase by 5, or you don't have a large minimum burden of maybe, you know, 20, 30, 25 funds that you need to sign up for initially. You can start off with 5, and as you increase your client base, you can jump up for, one at a time from there. BGL bank data. So if you do want the bank feeds flowing through, which, look, we do highly recommend. It does automate. I think we calculated around 67% of your fund having that bank data and shared data add-on. So bringing through all that data from the broker and the wraps and platforms for the buys and the sells. And that's 45 per fund per annum. You can have as many bank accounts as you like. So it's not limited to one bank account. Okay, unlimited bank accounts, unlimited transactions. And also goes for the shared data pack. So unlimited brokers, unlimited transactions, and you also get the registry data coming through for the quarterly. The smart docs that I showed you with uploading a copy of the bank statement, that Macquarie bank statement, and also the utilities, rental property statements, the annual tax statements, dividends, distributions, are all included in the package. So the 130. So you don't have to sign up extra for that particular feature, which really makes it valuable and cost effective for you when you're just starting off on the platform. We'll stick around for a couple of questions. Please feel free to put them through into the Q&A. We'd love to see what you thought of the webinar and any features you might have hoped to be, you hope to have seen that we can maybe cover off in the last 5 minutes. If you can't stick around, just want to thank you for attending this morning, and hopefully we chat soon. So thanks very much.